Hello everyone, my name is Kimberly Johnson, and today I'm going to be talking about the cons of having cell phones in the classrooms. Whether or not cell phones should be allowed in the classroom has been an ongoing debate for the past few years. Even though there has not been any distinctive decisions made about this issue, there has always been a lot of discussion about this monster called cell phones. Based on the information that I have read about not allowing cell phones in school, there are some valid points about this issue. Since technology has evolved into this massive monster and is taking over our everyday lives, especially with the students within the classrooms, the debate over cell phone use is so complex, while the majority being for cell phone usage in schools, and that it could possibly add balance in the classrooms. Others are not so keen to the idea. When students are allowed to have their cell phones in the classrooms, it can become a distraction and create a type of disparity or competition between students that oftentimes leads to an income disparity for the ones that can't seem to afford the hottest, newest, latest phone. And it may cause that child to be ridiculed by other students, just like the days when the latest fashions was ridiculed if you didn't have those nice clothes or things like that, which then causes a socioeconomic diversity because those students will become jealous and resentful for not being able to have what's hot and new, and those with the high-end phones will show them off and throw those like, oh, I can afford this and you can't, you're poor, and things like that. While cell phones are causing a socioeconomic diversity, they are also causing major distractions in the classroom across the country. With students being able to have their cell phones, they become distracted from class instruction that the teacher is giving. For instance, if a teacher is reviewing for an upcoming test and they're getting bored with material that the teacher is giving, or have that mindset of, oh, I know I'm going to pass this test, then they get bored and take their cell phones out and begin to check Facebook, Twitter, or whatever social medias that are popular, and start to create side conversations about whatever is going on that social media. Then on the day of the test, they haven't studied and begin to feel the pressure of maybe failing and may ask to go to the restroom and take a quick pic of the test that they have, and may send it to a friend or call and ask that friend if they have the answers. Another issue that comes along with the cell phone usage is that it can attract predators, since students like to use social media, and that's the biggest way that predators try to get to students, because predators lurk in chat rooms and on the different sites that the kids like to use these days, and they aren't protected by security settings or require parent or teacher supervision. While cell phones and tablet usage distracts their learning, it also compromises the learning and focus that they may need in order to keep their grades up and pass tests. Another issue that comes along with having cell phones in the classrooms is cyberbullying. That's one of the biggest concerns that teachers, parents, as well as school administrators have about having cell phones, because they have these different sites and they're sending messages, bullying people on them, and it just becomes way out of hand. And if it's not being monitored, then who can stop them? And it's becoming a harder issue to try to control when they're allowed to have their cell phones. And most school officials, they're trying to avoid kids even being able to bring their cell phones to school. I read in an article from Globe staff that on average, 88% of American teens have smartphones. 92% of those teens reported that they go online daily, with even more than half of that going online several times a day. And 24% are constantly on social media whether it's at school, at home, and it's a huge distraction. I have 3 nieces in school, and I told them that I had to write this paper, and they said, "That's a good topic, Amy." I know firsthand what kind of distraction it is. And hearing that from them, knowing that they're in school and that they have these distractions and they feel this passionate about it, it motivated me even more to write this and get this information out there, because some people think that cell phones are a good thing to have, but what about the downside? Grades come into play. They're not passing these STAR tests that they have to pass. If they are allowed to have their phones in school, the, their STAR scores or whatever grades will drop drastically. And we can't have that for our kids, that the future can be so bright for them if they took the cell phones out of schools. In conclusion, if cell phones not being allowed in school, being a big distraction and consume their day-to-day lives, grades would be much better than what they are now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.